It doesn't matter what year you are. I'm head of the associates. If I give you an assignment, you do it.
Hey everybody, this is your daily dose of all things royal. Welcome back, my gorgeous good-looking friends. Today, I want to touch upon a topic is crossing over into conspiracy theory territory. So if you're into that, put your tinfoil hats on. If you're not, then I suggest skipping it. What I have for you today, I think you're going to be fascinated with. From the beginning, many people have speculated that Meghan Markle was an asset to the US government and was planted into the royal family. And if you look at Sleazy E's background, many have suspected that he was also, too, an asset working for those intelligence agencies. So what I'm showing here is something that I found on Twitter. It's just showing links to Meghan Markle. So Meghan Markle did include Deepak Chopra into her 40 by 40 initiative that failed spectacularly. And as you can see, Deepak Chopra was connected to Sleazy E, and then as you can see, the connections to the CIA, which lead back up to Gloria Steinem. It totally raises a valid question. Why would Meghan be hanging out with Gloria Steinem if, let's say, she was connected to these intelligence agencies and was planted as an asset? Many people have suspected this before she even disrupted the monarchy. So in researching, if there's any evidence pointing to that, I found this tweet from 2017 where it says, Meghan Markle has all the credentials of the MK Ultra call girl / bloodline. This will not be a marriage, but an arrangement and takeover. Harry's not in love. The British monarchy may be destroyed. Now, I'm still struggling to believe this because of how stupid Meghan Markle is. I would think that our CIA and government would have enough sense to not put somebody this obvious and sloppy with her lies. You would think the CIA would be smarter than that. Or maybe this is by design. At any rate, what we know is true is that she lied about how she met Harry. How she met him, that's debated. It is obvious that Meghan uses the manipulation of touch in order to psychologically manipulate Harry. So if you ever notice when she holds his hand or touches his back or even strokes his arm, that is a trigger for him subconsciously to do what she wants, whether it means she wants him to go with her or stop talking or sort of recluse back. We've seen this over and over and over with Meghan and how she uses that in order to get him to stop whatever it is that he is doing that she doesn't like. I wouldn't be shocked that Meghan and Harry have used hypnotherapy, especially with Harry's trauma. I believe that subconsciously, Meghan gets into his psyche and controls it. Not only does she use touch to control his psyche, but also speech. I want to talk to you today about a topic called reverse speech and evidence of where it exists with Meghan Markle. Now, I saw this video a few days ago, and my mind was blown. This is from a channel called The Y-Files. I think this channel is really cool. They talk about many different things, such around science fiction, strange places, unusual people, as well as they do touch upon conspiracies. The production value is high quality, and the presenter also is a professional. I highly recommend you check it out. Anyway, going back to this video, they begin explaining that in 1983, David Oates accidentally dropped his Walkman into the toilet. And what ended up happening was that the tape player, after he retrieved it, could only play backwards. At first, he found it quite amusing, but then he realized that there were a lot of songs that had hidden messages in it, and you could only hear it if you played them backwards.
Soon, David discovered messages hidden in human speech that were not intentional, messages that were put there by the speaker's subconscious. Now, this is really interesting because that means the truth about every conspiracy is right in front of your nose. But David Oates began listening to regular conversations in reverse. Then he thought he heard words, phrases, and sometimes entire sentences encoded backward in everyday speech. Now, these aren't placed there intentionally, but are placed there unintentionally by our subconscious. And he found that everyone was inserting backward messages into their speech about every 30 seconds or so. David Oates says that human speech has two separate modes that serve different functions, but complement each other. One mode is spoken forward with the conscious mind. The other mode is backward speech, which is encoded by our subconscious. This mode contains emotions, inner thoughts, and our true intent. Specifically when it comes to politicians and public figures, when someone lies, they subconsciously encode the truth in their own speech. Now, this now becomes very interesting when you're listening to, say, senior members of the government discussing the moon landings or JFK.
Anyway, whether I'll be an asset or liability, the surveys show that it's helped because I think we are winning.
And I want to thank also all the people on this campaign.
The CIA has been involved in a large number of projects that would be considered pseudoscience or paranormal. Project Bluebird, the precursor to MKUltra, included experiments in hypnosis and the use of drugs to enhance psychic abilities. The CIA was or is looking into reverse speech. The reverse speech is also used in personal development. For people struggling with anxiety or depression, reverse speech has been used by psychologists to better understand the subconscious. It's helped families reconnect. It's given students clarity when faced with major life decisions. Now, some would argue that people go to psychics to help them with major decisions, and that's usually a scam. But reverse speech is different. There is no spirit talking through a medium. There are no tarot cards, no crystal ball. With reverse speech, you can hear the words with your own ears, and then it's up to you to make the interpretation. Now, chances are you were already leaning in one direction. You just needed someone to give you some advice and a little push. With reverse speech, the person giving you advice is someone that you know, without question, has your best interest in mind.
And here's how the Y-Files explains it. Folks, she has been doing this to Harry. And if you're not convinced, look at the example that this guy points out.
I had my path, and then came age.
Folks, this woman is beyond dangerous. She's just plain evil.
In fact, when we lie, our subconscious actually encodes the truth backward inside the lies that we tell.
So I wanted to test that theory and went back to the Oprah interview where we know at least 17 lies exist to see what is uncovered. The first example we're going to look at is the part where Meghan talks about the bridesmaids' dresses and putting blame on Catherine for making her cry. We know that that was an outright lie.
What was that, 6-7 months after our wedding? That the reverse of that? When the perception and the reality are two very different things, and you're being judged on the perception, but you're living the reality of it, there's a complete misalignment, and there's no way to explain that to people.
Apparently, I'm trapped in the cult of psychotherapy.
He's changed. She must be a witch. He's changed.
I think the reason why this rumor has been running around is because Meghan Markle has done such a great job at causing so much destruction, chaos, and divisiveness in the monarchy that it is possible that she could be a foreign agent. I mean, I know that the idea is far-fetched, or maybe not so far-fetched, but it's so hard to believe that the CIA would train this D-list Hollywood actress who's so bad at covering her tracks and use her as a honey trap to infiltrate the British royal family. I mean, the only thing that can explain her boorish behavior is this idea or possibility. I mean, she can't be that cruel and that unfeeling. Or maybe she can. In my opinion, it's almost as if it's at Ted Bundy level, where her narcissism and sociopathic tendencies could actually be a threat to society because, you know, Harry does say what Meghan wants, Meghan gets, and it does appear that she doesn't care what's in her way. She will take down and remove it by any means. King Charles needs to be very careful because this woman is an agent of destruction. And even though she likes to keep her hands clean, there's no stopping her on trying to hurt the rest of the family. And there's no doubt in my mind that her eyes are on taking down both William and Catherine. Look, I know that the family is well aware of this and they will have or already have the right safety measures in place to protect the rest of the family. But you can never underestimate this woman. There's no doubt in my mind that Harry has been conditioned and brainwashed to bend to Meghan. So all these things that have been happening is a result of Meghan in Harry's ear, in his psyche, manipulating him. I don't think it's far-fetched that Meghan is working with forces to undermine the monarchy as well as destroy our democracy. I do believe that Harry is fully aware of what is going on and is an active participant. And I believe that the Yorks have been caught up in this shit with them to some degree. And I call bullcrap on Fergie for saying that she did not know Meghan. Let me share with you an article that I found in Vogue Saudi Arabia in 2019. Listen to what Fergie said in the interview. The royal, who recently turned 60, is in some way the predecessor to today's Meghan, Duchess of Sussex. Ever since she married Prince Andrew in 1986, her life has been under the microscope. Every move made, every word spoken, and every kilogram gained was twisted into a salacious headline. I know what Meghan is going through, she confides. So this was the question the interviewer asked, and it said, "It seems impossible to discuss your royal life and not see the parallels with the experiences of Meghan, Duchess of Sussex. What's your take on the situation?" So Fergie replies, "Must be hard for Meghan, and I can relate to her. I believe she is modern and fabulous. She was famous before. She is great. Why can't Meghan be great? Why can't she be celebrated? Any advice for her?" I tend not to give advice because it is taken out of context, but I've been in Meghan's shoes and I still am. There's always a twist of negativity and it just gets so sad and tiring. It's hard and mean. I abhor bullying and I feel desperately sorry for the pain they must be going through because I've been through it. Then Fergie is asked, "How did you cope with the media negativity?" She says, "I eventually self-sabotaged. I didn't think of the ramifications of my actions. I was at the bottom of the barrel. It was almost as if I wanted to be unlovable. But when I was at the bottom, I wrote the book," get this, guys, "Finding Sarah." Remember, this was all before the Harkles had left, and this was all before Finding Freedom came out, the 6-part mental health series that Harry had put out with Oprah and the Oprah interview. Keep that all in mind. The interview continues. The next question is asked, "How did you deal with the mental aspects of that?" Sarah replies, "I sought a lot of help and opened up to my mistakes, very honestly to myself. I went on the Oprah Winfrey Show and made a 6-episode mental health series also called Finding Sarah, where I discussed my issues with people so it could be filmed and so other people wouldn't have to go through it. Do I believe that Sarah is not telling us the full picture? Yeah, I don't think she's telling us the truth. I think she knows more than she's willing to lead on, but because of what Meghan has done to the entire family, she definitely does not want to expose that she probably had a hand in helping with some of those projects that we saw come out. The last thing I want to bring up is this update around Better Up. So apparently it's now being valued at $4.7 billion, even though you scratch your head and say, how is that even possible when the reviews are coming in fast and furious? Like recently on March 22nd, this one was posted and it is scathing. Now, this is a current employee and they're saying, where do I begin? I've been here well over 2 years now. In that time, I can offer up observations here in hopes that current prospective employees can better navigate this psychologically unsafe minefield. It is my understanding that HR and even the C-levels, higher level execs will spy whether it is Slack, emails, or possibly even audio off your laptops. So be aware, please. There are some things you cannot do here. Unfortunately, never go to HR with anything. It will never be in your favor, especially at this company. Just do what you can. Get medication, etc., to avoid getting to this point. A performance improvement plan, or PIP, is a sure sign of an exit, and BetterUp does an amazing job in its fascist state of managing you out. There's nothing you can do if you get to this point. What you can do is log everything you can about everything from day one. Heck, they'll leverage a performance improvement plan even if your track record prior to coming here is stellar. Quite fascist. Don't fill out Glassdoor review during the month-long onboarding. Your honeymoon phase will influence a prospective hire with unfounded optimism, which may ruin their life, family, finances, mental health, etc. And many were blindsided that ultimately quit mysteriously. It is absolutely unfathomable that the HR/CEO lured so many amazing people by an inflated Glassdoor review score strategy, hoping the Glassdoor team can look into this gaming. The above point is indicative of a dysfunctionality all too pervasive today, but shocking, it is happening here. The ends justify the means. They do not care about you. And they do not care about the many amazing coaches, mostly women, who are hired. And they certainly don't care about BIPOC, which are the people of color, regardless of what they tout. Ironic because we target companies on diversity, inclusion, and belonging. This company is anything but, I think that's diversity, inclusion, or whatever that stands for, underneath the surface level. There could be more to say, but looking at the low star reviews will help inform you. I encourage all current BetterUp employees to honestly share your experience to avoid further psychological harm to existing and incoming prospective employees. Also, read some of the coach and contractor reviews here as well. Wow. For me, I think this is the worst review that I've read so far at BetterUp. Now, there are other reviews that were left on the 23rd. I have to just catch up with that. But I wanted to share this with you because it's alarming to see, especially when the company keeps going up in valuation. So you got to ask yourself, what is really going on? Something doesn't seem right. I will leave you to some sleuthing, but one of the investors of BetterUp has links and ties to Sleazy E. Is anybody surprised? No, I can't say I am. Anyhow, in addition to that, the CEO, Alexei Robichaux, or Robichaux as I like to call him, Robichaux's dad used to teach and give linguistics lessons to the United States Information Agency. Well, it no longer exists because it then turned into the U.S. Agency for Global Media, also known as the BBG. So there's a lot of controversy around this BBG government entity in the United States, as it had been formed in 1999 and was run by Secretary of State John Kerry, and it operated like a company to host of Cold War era CIA spin-offs and old school psychological warfare projects. In 2018, the New York Times reported that the agency had targeted Americans with Facebook ads for one of its outlets, which would violate the Smith-Mundt Act, a law to protect Americans from domestic propaganda. So the BBG, its role as a soft power psychological warfare operation, hasn't really changed since the inception. The BBG and its subsidiaries still engage in propaganda warfare, subversion, and soft power projection against countries and foreign political movements deemed hostile to U.S. interests, aka the monarchy, right? And I say that because look at the division and the chaos that Meghan has caused with the Commonwealth. Why do you think that that's happening? Don't you think that America wants to have trade with the Commonwealth? Absolutely. Harry knows the potential for the Commonwealth and how much money can be made from that. Could Harry have learned something from his Uncle Andrew? Yeah, I think so. So let's think about this for a second. Harry is over here in the United States working with NGOs who are trying to censor American free speech. Also, he works for a company who is collecting data and giving mental coaching health advice to our Air Force and veterans, in which the company is funded and backed by a company that has ties to Sleazy E. This seriously stinks to high hell, guys. While although this is all speculative and conspiracy, whatever, everything seems to be aligning. And it's not a coincidence that we keep seeing the same players over and over. I don't trust anybody that Meghan and Harry are aligned with, and neither should you. Every single person that we have investigated on this channel has turned out to have some type of hidden agenda where it's just shady and just corrupt to the core. Here's the thing that concerns me. We have Harry in this country who is a foreigner, not even a citizen, who is dabbling in our politics, but also collecting data from members of various military entities such as the Navy, the Air Force, NASA. Prince Harry is a C-level executive who has zero loyalty to his country, the UK, nor do I think he has any loyalty to the United States. Who's to say that information in their database can't be sold? Hey, we know what happens, and last week, TikTok was grilled because China has ownership in TikTok. Now, I understand that that is a security threat to anybody on the platform in general, especially Americans, if they are collecting data and it's being weaponized against the people. I do have my own thoughts around the hearing that happened, and perhaps I might do a video separately to talk about that, only if you guys want me to. So definitely let me know in the comment section if this would be something you would be interested in me covering and talking about, because there's a lot in the 5-hour hearing that I found fascinating, but also disturbing at the same time. So you let me know if there's interest, and I definitely will talk about it. But for this video, this is all I have. I'm going to stop here just so you're not overwhelmed, but let me know what you think. Share your comments below. Do you think Meghan Markle fell into the trap of being some type of intelligence asset? Even though reverse speech is pseudoscience and not officially labeled in academia, do you think that there is a behavior or subconscious way that we speak in which when we do talk consciously, that subconsciously we can point out lies? Let me know in the comment section. I'm looking forward to seeing what you think. Anyhow, that's all I have for you today. As always, I will be back soon with more content, but until then, please be safe, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.
I was such a fraud.